70 to order. If you'll all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence, Mr. Gonzalez will lead us. Thank you. You may all be seated. Thank you all for attending tonight. We've got quite a bit on the agenda. We'll move through it as we can. So the first item, board members' reports. Board members may have a discussion about conferences, visitation, legislation, and special recognition, donations, etc. Does any board member have anything they would like to report? Ms. Kravitz.
I have one thing. I wanted to thank the community for constantly supporting our students and our staff. I had the privilege of going to one of our Rotary meetings yesterday where we had a Student of the Month presentation. And of course, she was a fabulous choice, but the Rotarians, like our entire community, doubled the scholarship on the spot. So it was really fun to watch, and thank you for all the donations and everything.
Wonderful.
Any other board member? Yes, Ms. Mellon.
President Townsend, thank you. I just want to, we had a Southwest Arizona Town Hall meeting with the community on September 30th, and Yuba Union High School District represented excellently, extraordinarily in so many ways with the staff and the teams that were there, the presentation that Superintendent Thompson did, and most of all, our students were rock stars. Oh my goodness. They were strategically placed in different breakout groups, and the rest of the community was just blown away at their insights. Of course, we all know that, but for others to experience that, I think was vital to the conversations and the outcome of the town hall. So I really appreciate all that support. And it was a long day, 7:30 to about 4:15, but it was we had a great time and got a lot accomplished. And then on Monday, and I'll report at the next meeting, our teen mental health, our yellow ribbon teams will be presenting to the Arizona House of Representatives on Monday, and we have a team of people going, led by Assistant Superintendent Anderson and her team. So the students will be presenting as well there. So I look forward to those presentations on Monday, and I get to report next time how it went. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other reports? Okay, we'll move on. Next item is the superintendent's report. Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, President Townsend, governing board members. It's really been fun to introduce you all to our administrative teams, and tonight we have our final two teams. And I do think it's important for us to consider the quote that I had put in the background. The task of leadership is not to put greatness into humanity, but to elicit it, for the greatness is already there. And I want to tell you that without fail, the 7 leaders, including Mr. Arviso for our campus that's on its way, the 7 principals truly live that quote in my eyes. And I hope you have enjoyed and also gained insight into the leaders that represent you and take our students into their care every day. So tonight we have Gila Ridge High School. If that team would come forward and introduce themselves, and you already have received their bios in your Friday report.
Thank you. I appreciate the chance to introduce my team. My name is Kathy Hoover. I'm the principal of Gila Ridge High School. I put kind of just my background in my bio. I wanted to just mention that I've had a lot of great opportunities in this district to be led by really great mentors, and a lot of them are up here, a lot of them are behind me, and I attribute my direction toward leadership to them, and just really appreciate the growth mindset that our district leadership have, and they're taking a chance on me in this role. So I'm really excited. I've had a lot of fun so far. I've got a great administrative team that I'm excited to introduce to you. They're very nervous. Mr. David Barrios couldn't be here tonight, so I wanted to read the comments he shared that he wished for me to share with you guys. Mr. Barrios is an assistant principal for Gila Ridge High School and an athletic director for our school. He's in his 4th year as an administrator and his 9th as an educator with our school district. Mr. Barrios grew up in Somerton and graduated from Cibola in 2004. Interesting fact among the people here, he wanted me to mention that Mr. Arviso, Mr. Brienza, Mr. Ware all coached Mr. Barrios while he was a student at Cibola High School. But he wanted us to note that it was board member Mr. Carlos Gonzalez who was one of his first coaches while growing up in Somerton. So he was excited to share that with you guys and apologizes that he couldn't be here tonight. Mr. Barrios is a United States Marine Corps veteran, and he enjoys spending time with his wife, Abby, and goofy but great kids, Xavier and Emma. So I'm pleased to get to introduce Mr. Barrios. I'd like to introduce my other assistant principals, Mrs. Leanne McCall. She's our assistant principal over academics, and Mr. Jeremy Beck is our assistant principal overseeing activities. So I'm going to let them speak to you guys this evening and share a little bit about themselves. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Leanne McCall. I'm the assistant principal for academics at Gila Ridge. And in my bio, I stated that I've been in education 23 years. This is my 5th year with the Yuma Union High School District. I actually started teaching in Somerton, and I taught there for 6 years, and I was in the San Luis the Gadsden District for 13 years prior to coming here. And now in the high school, so I've done everything from kindergarten to 12th grade. So it truly is a full circle to be able to land here and to start my new journey with our new administrative team at Gila Ridge. I find connections and names and numbers all of the time. So I think that this team was truly meant to be because my mother's name is Kathy, and her legal name is also the same as Miss Hoover's legal name, and my husband's name is Jeremy. And so I don't know about Mr. Barrios, but we'll figure that out later because I'm not related to David. So I think that when you look at things like that, sometimes things are just meant to be. So thank you for having me this evening.
Wow, I gotta follow that, man. I don't really have the humor for that one. All right, so good evening, guys. Welcome. Thank you guys all for showing up and being a part of this stint, right? I know I'm taking over with this. Welcome to my own party, guys. So I'm Jeremy Beck, and Ms. Hoover already introduced me a little bit that I'm the activities, and I also oversee special services with IEPs and 504s as well. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, but went to the University of Arkansas where me and Ms. Hoover kind of have a battle because I'm a Razorback fan and she's a Tiger fan, which we don't get along very well outside of school, right? Inside of school, we're fine. I truly believe in our mission of every student and every family being college, career, and community ready. My lifelong passion has been education. I'm currently working on my 4th master's degree from this beautiful university behind me, Go Lopes. And so I truly, when I walk through the doors every single day, I envision every kid that can truly share that same dream and that same passion as me. My goal is to extend that beyond just the student, but to extend it to the family themselves, and to where we one day walk into a community that is more prepared for every family having that success and being ready for their student to walk the stage and know exactly what they're wanting to be when they get older. So I thank you guys for the opportunity for my first year here as an assistant principal, and I cannot wait to learn from each and every one of you who is currently in the crowd, as well as those of you who are currently in front of me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Vista High School, a one-man band. I'm not going to say a one-man team because Mr. Sergine is amazing at the work that he does as an individual, but because of his ability to get the team all together. So it's my pleasure to have you introduce yourself tonight, Brett.
Thank you, Gina. I really appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about myself. Governing board members, I've met all of you before and talked a little bit before. And I'm going to primarily just read from my bio, so I apologize if you already read it. I'm sure I'll add some things as I go. but I'll dive right in. So I have been a principal at Vista High School since July 2018. I'm in my 5th year. I've loved every challenge and every joy that I've had there. I have a wonderful team of teachers who step up into every kind of role that needs to be filled, and other staff members as well who just really show up every day for students and do the best work that they can, and whatever they can to help students succeed. Prior to Vista, I was assistant principal at Gila Ridge High School and also Yuma High School. Before then, I was a teacher, instructional leader, and instructional coach at Kofa High School. This is my 12th year in Yuma and my 12th year as an educator. I'm originally from the Phoenix area. The area in Phoenix keeps changing. I keep getting more and more secretive about which area it might be. But I came into education as a second career, inspired by my wife, who was a teacher before me. Gina Thompson offered me my first job at KOFA. She also offered me the job of assistant principal when I became an assistant principal, and she offered me the job of principal as well. So all of the opportunities I've had have been given to me by Gina, and she has been one of many incredible mentors in this district that have helped me develop and grow. And Miss Hoover mentioned this as well, and that is what I love about Yuma and what I love about this school district is all of the opportunities you have if you're a student and you want to go after it and take advantage of opportunities. All the doors are open for you. And if you're working in this district, every door is open for you, and people are ready to help you open that next phase of your career. I have an amazing wife, a little bit about me, who, as I said, inspired me to become an educator, and I'm the father of 2 young boys. One's age 3 and one is age 9. And I think that I have learned the most about education from my 2 children. It's wonderful the things that we learn when we're looking through the perspective of kids and them going through the educational system. And early childhood education, I admire a lot. They really know what they're doing. And I've learned a lot from kindergarten teachers and preschool teachers as well that have worked with my children. When I'm not at work, I am spending time with my family, and that's where I get my energy and motivation and inspiration. They're very important to me. As a leader, I believe in hard work, putting in the time to keep getting better at whatever we do. In video games, it's called grind, and I do enjoy video games. And the idea is you put in hard work over and over and over again, and you gain experience and you level up. And if it's a good game, you love it. And I love the hard work of education, and it is hard work. But we get to refine our craft every day. We get to meet new challenges every day. We get to take risks. We get to keep trying when things are hard, and that helps us model to students as well that if we keep trying and we keep working, that good things will happen. I'm grateful to our district leaders and to our community for all of the opportunities that I have had to work hard for our students. And I am grateful for the chance to share a little bit about myself, and grateful every day for being able to be in this district and to be a Lobo. So thank you guys.
Mr. Sergein, please don't go very far, because we have a presentation this evening that I didn't tell you about. And we have 2 guests. Grand Canyon University celebrates the work of principals demonstrating creativity and vision at their schools in the following categories: implementing of supporting STEM-related pathways, implementing of supporting trauma-informed practices, implementing or supporting innovations designed to increase student success. A wonderful letter was written by Associate Superintendent Lisa Anderson and submitted to our partners and friends and colleagues at Grand Canyon University. And we are honored to have Cheryl and Jennifer here with us tonight. They drove to Yuma specifically for this, and I appreciate them doing that. and they are going to talk a little bit and present to Mr. Sergine this evening.
Thank you. The surprise is out. Mr. President, governing board members, superintendent, and guests, I'm Dr. Cheryl Paul, and on behalf of President Mueller and the K-12 development team at GCU, we are honored to be here this evening to recognize one of many of your principals that go above and beyond the call of duty. We know over the last few years, 3 of your principals have been recognized. And I know my colleague, Dr. Jennifer Johnson, was able to actually even recognize one of your principals during COVID virtually. So we want to pause for a moment and say thank you to the board members. Thank you to an amazing superintendent who we've already heard this evening is a role model and continues to grow from within. We appreciate your dedication and your commitment to the field of education. And to everyone out there, on behalf of GCU, your job isn't easy, and we know that. We recognize that, and we value you, and we appreciate what you do. And parents, thank you for what you do. So at this time, I would typically unveil who the winner was. However, I think at this point, it's fair to say that I am going to ask Principal Brett Sergey to come up here with me while I read a few words. As the superintendent noted, this award, there are 3 different categories that typically someone can be selected. We feel strongly that you fall into 2 of those categories: innovation, creativity, and trauma-informed practices. The letter and what you do on behalf of your students, staff, and community is absolutely remarkable. And if you allow me, I'd like to read a few of the words. So Vista High School is the small school option within Yuma Union High School District. With an average daily enrollment of 200 to 300 students, Vista is proud to offer families a small school environment with high expectations for student learning and various pathways for college and career readiness. And again, I'm just going to read excerpts throughout. Vista supports students most at risk of dropping out of high school, including students who may not be on track to graduate with their cohort students who have experienced dropout and students who typically may not succeed on a large campus. Students come to Vista to experience a small school model and individualized learning. Their mission is to provide a student experience built on high expectations for all and a commitment to positive relationships that foster lifelong success. It's truly remarkable. Further down says, embedded in the school culture are 3 attributes: run as a pack, character, and we stand tall. Ask any of our students, and they will be able to share these attributes with you. They know who we are. Thank you for that. And lastly, from a community member, it says, the community at Vista also includes the voice of parents and community stakeholders. Most recently, at a Vista stakeholder meeting, a parent shared her gratitude for Vista and the structures PBIS has provided to make students feel safe and valued. She said, at Vista, classes are smaller and my children are excited to attend school. My daughter has actively talked about learning, and the PBIS has bolstered positive relationships throughout. If you don't have those positive relationships, it absolutely affects the safety of all. My daughter is dyslexic and has ADHD. She has been to so many different schools as a military child, and many wrote her off and didn't think she would succeed. Because of Vista, she is excited about learning and her future. She is on track to graduate early. Through the systematic implementation of PBIS, Vista Principal has created a culture of inclusive education. In this truly inclusive setting, every student feels safe and has a sense of belonging. So on behalf of GCU, it is our privilege and our pleasure to initially begin by giving you the antelope. Lopes up, as we know. And what's so unique about this plaque is only given to recipients of the Principal of the Month. So congratulations for that. And then, of course, we have a plethora of GCU swag in there. Yeah, yes, and a great picnic basket. And lastly, Caroline Lobo is the principal architect and owner of Soul Architects, the architect firm that has designed all of GCU's buildings over the last decade. She has provided a sponsorship of our Principal of the Month for the past 6 years. And so on behalf of her and Soul Architect, I would like to hand over this monetary gift to you of $500.
Thank you again to both of you for coming to Yuma for that presentation, and enjoy some of our community while you're at it. Thank you again. Congratulations, Mr. Surgein. President Townsend, next on our agenda are the student council reports, and we'll start this evening with Kofa High School.
Good afternoon, board members and members of the public. My name is Geraldine Ibarra, and I am the student body president at Kofa High School. I know we're just about 2 months into the school year. However, Kofa High School has already made an excellent progress in creating culture and community on our campus. To start off our presentation, we have a couple of pictures of our color guard and some JROTC members in action. So far, they have competed in the drill and rifle competitions within Arizona, and this past Saturday, they competed at the Sahuarita Raider Challenge. Just last week, our drama club had their first performance. The theme of their play was So This Is Love. I went and watched the show, and it was truly adorable. Something really great that they did was ask for a can of food as the entrance ticket. So every person in attendance brought 1 or more cans of food, and drama donated all of the cans that they collected to Crossroads Mission. This amazing mural project was recently finished and has actually been a long work in progress. Students in ceramics class began working on the Loyalty to Royalty plaques 2 years ago, and then last year the Ceramic Society members finished them and donated them to the district. Our incredible ceramics teacher, Mr. Rangel, painted this mural at the end of the last year and finished it over the summer before this school year started. The attention to detail is incredible, and the plaques are just beautiful. We all can't wait to see what our ceramics members make this year. Ayana Polk is a sophomore at Kofa High School. She has been selected as a member of the 2022-23 Youth Arts Council on behalf of the Arizona Commission of Arts. She has been a part of Kofa's Art Club since her freshman year. This year, she is vice president of the Kofa Art Club and recently won second place in the Veteran of Foreign Wars local patriotic art contest. She hopes to be able to inspire more students to participate in art contests and get them out of their comfort zones. That is just a little bit about Ms. Polk. A big congratulations to her, as this is a great accomplishment to achieve as a sophomore. Plenty of our CTE members have attended leadership trips these past couple of months. Our hospitality and culinary classes had a 3-day trip to Williams, Arizona, where they served the academic campers at Williams, Arizona. And our sportsmen, nursing, and medical assisting officers attended the YUHSD Leadership Camp in Prescott. Shortly after, our FBLA officers attended the FBLA Leadership Camp in Prescott as well. And just last week, some of our Skills USA members attended the Skills USA Leadership Conference in Phoenix, Arizona. In the beginning of September, COFA CTE leaders and ambassadors attended one of the biggest leadership conferences, the Skills USA Washington Leadership Training Institute. During this conference, they got to tour Washington, D.C., talk to legislators before meeting with Senator Kelly, and build on their leadership skills for a whole week. This year, we are so proud to have 5 state and regional officers for 2 different CTSOs. In the Red Blazers, we have our Skills USA state officers, Desiree Diaz, Vice President, and Christy Mojardin as Secretary. Under them, we have our Skills USA Region 1 officers, Hunter Daniels, Vice President, and Leo Cuevu as Parliamentarian. Then, as our FBLA Arizona Vice President of Chapter Development for State and National Programs is Luis Encinas. I personally know all of these officers, and I can say that they are great people and even more talented leaders. Our tradition of the burning of the Y was a great success. The wooden Y was created by our very own COFA construction students. Before we headed to the field to burn the Y that afternoon, we had games for students to play and concessions sold by different clubs at our King's Court. After the activities, our band led us to the field while playing music as we marched to the Y. Then, during the rivalry game, the COFA Royal dancers and the Yuma Cell Block dancers got together and shared the field to give us an amazing halftime performance. To start off the school year, COFA Student Council attended the Arizona Association of Student Councils Spirit Conference in Phoenix, Arizona. Then, that same week, we had our very first Assembly and Spirit Week, which was fandom themed. 2 weeks ago, we had a Spirit Week to celebrate childhood cancer and suicide prevention awareness. We also had different lunch activities where we had cutouts of painted hands in the suicide prevention colors, teal and purple, for students to write positive messages on to give to others and for them to take one for themselves. We also made and sold yellow ribbons for 50 cents each for childhood cancer awareness. As a council, we are doubling the profits and donating them to the Advocate Foundation. Additionally, we created these go bags, as you can see in the pictures, to help students in need, which included some helpful items such as toiletries and snacks. Our most recent event was our homecoming reveal, where we revealed our homecoming theme for our next 2 big events, which is Horrific Homecoming. And our next 2 big events are our Creepy Carnival, taking place before the homecoming football game, and our homecoming dance, taking place the Saturday night after the game. That is just a taste of what's been going on at COFA High School. Thank you so much for having me, and don't forget, once a king, always a king. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention fall sports. Sorry. One of the biggest things going on right now is fall sports, which so many students are involved in. As you can see, we have pictures of our girls and boys cross country, our football team, our swimmers, just one picture of our golfers and our volleyball team. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, can I have San Luis High School come forward?
Good evening, board members, President Townsman, Mr. Townsman, and Associate Superintendents, Superintendent Ms. Thompson. My name is Amara Rodriguez, and I'm here representing San Luis High School as their student body president. To start off, I'm going to be speaking about our community service at San Luis High School. So, to start off the year, we always start with registration, which is a very exhausting 4 days for our student council and also for multiple other clubs who decided to come and help us with any kind of jobs that we might have during registrations. Another one after that would be open house, which we have once again our student council come and help our non-speaking teachers when it comes to the Spanish-speaking parents. Then we would like to acknowledge our mental and social health students. They took the time last September to do over 300 yellow ribbons for our suicide prevention awareness. Then, our outstanding achievements on the campus. We would like to say and acknowledge once again our regional officers for Skills USA. We have 3 of our students out of the 5. Then, our 20 CTE ambassadors traveled to Washington, D.C. for a leadership training institute. All 20 students earned the National Statesman Award, which is the highest recognition a member can earn. Then we have our Student of the Month. There's multiple nominations, but only one receives it. Our month of September was Adriana Escobedo was our month of September, and once again, when students are chosen for Student of the Month, they receive a good newsletter home for their parents. Then our Ambassador of Excellence, Alexis Tiscareno, he was nominated for this month's Ambassador of Excellence, creating an imaginative work and intuitive work for being responsible, respectful, and reliable. And for those who may not know, Ambassador of Excellence is a once a month opportunity to share great stories of success, perseverance from students within our entire San Luis community, including AWC. Then our athletes of the month would be Vladimir playing golf and Alessandra playing volleyball. We are very thankful for these students. Then our San Luis High School engineering was one of the highest performing students in Arizona by getting acknowledged in the ASU Helios Decision Center for Educational Excellence. And to recognize our staff and school, we would like to recognize our history teacher, Mr. McDougall, for being awarded Teacher of the Year. And to finish off, some of the upcoming events at San Luis High School would be Power Buff and Powder Puff. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And finally, Yuma High School, please come forward.
Thank you. Good evening, board members and members of the public. My name is Michaela Fidzikowski, and I am the student body president at Yuma High. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about all-around campus events, and then some outstanding student achievements, campus recognition, and then some upcoming events we'd like to share. First, we are having science labs constructed to be in the research building. Then we are also having restrooms continuing to be improved and updated. And we are also having an improved life skills classroom opening soon. And those are, sorry, that was a picture of what the labs would look like. To kick off homecoming, Yuma High hosted their first pep rally since 2019, which was really huge, so the whole school was excited. And it kicked off our victory against COFA, 47-0. That was pretty big for us too. And currently, YHS football is on a pace to having the best season in over a decade. We'd like to recognize Sofia Sauceda receiving the College Board National Hispanic Recognition Award. And then one of our nursing students, Saraí Arellano, presented to the Study Board on CTE and Skills USA Region 1 Conference. And then football's Jesus Villapuera, Giovanni Robinson, and Manuel Garcia are currently ranked in the top 25 players in Arizona in 7 different categories. We also had students go to WLTI to gain more knowledge on Skills USA and CTE and what kind of impact that has on the students for all the high schools. And they also got a chance to speak to congressmen about education and funding for CTE. Would also recognize our PBIS team and security. Ms. Casada is our business management teacher, and she has actively been working with faculty and students using our CRIMS card program, which is basically an incentive to students modeling responsibility or respect, and they would get a CRIMS card to receive a prize at the end of the month. And would also like to recognize our campus security for keeping Yuma High safe. Our upcoming events is our Crimp Swim Invitational, which is basically a big competition of all the schools in the district, and I believe four school state teams. Our Hall of Fame celebration, October 28th and October 29th, and then the Yuma County Get Together. That is also a huge event that has not been since 2019, since COVID, which is basically where all the student councils get together and they can gain information from each other of what like leadership really is and gain better knowledge and bring it back to their councils. And then we're also planning on hosting Powder Puff November 18th. And that is it. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all of our student council for your report. President Townsend, that does end the superintendent report, and students, unless you are choosing to stay for the meeting, you're welcome to exit at this time, and anyone else that needs to go.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Thank you, students. That was a great report. Moving on, our next item is our budget update, the overview of the 2022-2023 Yuma Union High School District internal budget. Neil, you're up. It's your turn.
Hello, President Townsend, board, Ms. Thompson. As I've said before, your favorite finance person is here.
Our new favorite.
Yes. So I have the privilege of presenting the internal budget for Yuma Union High School District. Page 1 and page 2 contain the maintenance and operation budget for the district and shows costs as they occur year to date compared to the previous month. As a summary of that, we can see at the bottom of the page, we have a budget of $90,187,082. As of 10/1, we have spent $15,097,072 of that. You can see in the previous month, we had spent about 10% of the budget. We are now at 17% of the budget, which of course we would expect as we continue on through our fiscal year. And then on page 3 is our capital expenditures. You can see there that our budgeted amount for the year is $20,519,151, and of that, of 10/1, we have spent $191,084 or $84,000, $191,084. So that is an increase from 2% last month. Now we're down to 1%, so we've done some moving of codes. That's why it would go down. And then our final page here is just a presentation of our student accounts and where they sit. The highlight there is that there's a change in the balance. So we've been spending more from our student accounts. It's at a net change of $15,045.66 down. And I just put that was a decrease more of $3,803.05. So just showing that our clubs are spending money, they're doing things, putting their minutes through and hosting activities. Are there any questions on the internal budget?
Any board members? Ms. Kravitz.
Thank you for that great explanation. Even I can understand that. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course.
I had a few questions on the M&O budget on page 1.
Okay.
Postage and insurance and bonding. So postage, we've spent almost the entire amount, and insurance, we spent more than we had budgeted for.
So both of those work the same way. So for example, with our postage, we have that account that we will spend from. As it goes along, we will then post back the expenditures to the different departments or campuses that spend from it. So, and that's the same, in the same way that the insurance and bonding works, is that we have the insurance costs up front at the beginning of the year. Now we have unemployment costs that come through payroll from all our staff that we take out, and that will be counted against it. So the postage will fluctuate throughout the year as we get costs, and then we post them back to the different departments and things. And so those budgets will increase as they get expenditures. And then the insurance and bonding, again, it will start high, and as the year goes on and we continue to collect the benefits from the employees' checks, that goes against it and reduces it. And I know last month that was brought up because it was at 129%. We did make a final payment on the insurance for our trust, and so that increased the cost a little bit, and then it was negated by us taking back from our payroll. So it did net in a 1% increase, but from now on, we should see decreases as we've paid the entire invoices for our insurance.
So that will show in the next month's report?
It should start going down, yes.
Okay,
It should.
thank you.
Mhm.
Any other, Mr. Lotta?
A quick question here. So I see here, sorry about that. I see here what we get for funding from the state of Arizona, but I'm still trying to find out how much we get from the federal government. So would you be able to look that up? Or, I requested it some time ago and I haven't been able to get that information. I mean, you can get to me later, but I'm just trying to find out.
Yeah, sure.
And just to clarify a little bit, we do have a study session on budget, and that's where we're putting together the presentation because it's such a big picture. So we're hoping to address not only that question, but any other questions in that presentation.
And Mr. Lara, later on I will be going over the annual financial report, the AFR, and that will show a lot of our grants, federal and state, that we get and the spending on those. So hopefully that will also help you see what we're getting and what we're spending.
Any other questions?
Oh, I do the AFR now. Okay, let me just grab it. Okay, so we're going to change gears here and go into the annual financial report.
I'm gonna run out of time.
So this is a final report that we do as a district that shows all the different funds, their beginning balances, our expenditures, and our revenues throughout the year. And then we show a final ending of each account that we have, each final budget. So I'm going to go through it briefly, page through page, since we do have a lot tonight. So after the cover page, on page 1, these are our 5 main accounts. These are levy accounts, so they come from tax proceeds. That's why they're kind of front and center on the page. You can see our maintenance and operation, our capital, and things like that on this page. And at the bottom, you'll see the ending fund balance as of the end of this last fiscal year, 21-22. The next page is a summary of the expenditures out of our maintenance and operation fund by different categories, so salaries, benefits, supplies, those kinds of things. What I will highlight is that we had a total expenditures of $69,440,176. Our prior year was $65,207,219. So we've had a small increase of that of about $4 million, and as we would expect, we're having costs go up and things like that. The next page is our classroom site fund. So that is revenue derived from the taxes on sales that go from our Prop 301 that go towards our classrooms and things. Again, it simply just shows there the beginning balance, expenditures, anything coming in, and then our final balance. The next page is our construction and capital projects. So our capital fund itself and some of the funds that we use for construction. I'll highlight on the capital assets box at the bottom of that page. That's just a summary of all the total assets that the district holds. And from our previous year, highlight that in our construction in progress, that's gone up quite a bit. And that's because we are building Somerton High School. So that box just encapsulates costs that aren't yet finalized, so we don't have a school yet, so it's not going to go in our books, so we hold it there. Once we complete Somerton, you'll then see it in our building from going on. Our next page is our, as I said, Mr. Lara, we have here the federal projects and the state projects, so these are our grants. So you can see that there's a beginning balance on the one side. Then we have our budgeted amounts that we're planning from that, as you can see there. It has our revenues that come in and our expenditures. The federal is up top, state up on the bottom. And what I'll highlight there is you'll see negative amounts. Our grants run as a reimbursement process, so we incur costs and then we get reimbursement back. So if you see a negative, we're gonna get reimbursement. It's that at the end of the fiscal year, we hadn't gotten it all back yet, so you see a negative, but that will see a revenue in the following fiscal year. On the next page is our miscellaneous other funds. This is just some of the other funds we have in the district that we track. I want to highlight on this page, you'll notice that negative amount for Fund 691 Building Renewal Grant. So that fund itself also runs on a reimbursement basis. So we submit costs that we get for different SFB funded projects that they'll do repairs on or things like that, and then we'll get a reimbursement back. So we are planning on getting that money back in the next fiscal year. It was just at the close of this year, we had those expenditures not yet reimbursed from the state facilities board. On the next page is just some information regarding our bond balance. So we did sell bonds, and you can see that increase there in the $19,478,000. The negative amount is what we've been paying off on our bonds, with a final total there of the bonds outstanding. I also want to highlight the average salary of all teachers employed in fiscal year 22 was $54,190. That is an increase from our $51,365. And when this started getting tracked on our reports here from 2018, we've actually had an increase of 24%. And you'll see in that box, it does not, when we calculate the salaries, encapsulate our Indian gaming payments or instructional improvement. So those are not counted into it, but that is what our teachers are getting if they get the full payments for that. 8 and 9 briefly, they are just information for the state and for the federal government to do their reporting. Not going to go into depth on that. The summary page is just taking all that previous information from all the previous pages and then making it nice and neat here. Here's a beginning balance, here's your revenues, here's your expenditures, here's an ending balance, along with what was budgeted. After that will be our food service. This is purely just our food service fund, what we're tracking there. I do want to highlight that we've had an increase. There was a meeting that the board held regarding our food service, and you'll see the changes there are positive increase in that fund as the changes that we made for that. The next page, next pages, I didn't want this to be an eye test. It was very small, so I broke it out. But this is a expenditures and revenues from our COVID-19 federal relief funds. So this covers our COVID funds, funding that the district has received to make up for the lost learning and the resources needed to get through the pandemic. I'll just highlight that the current year expenditures are in that table A. It breaks it down a little bit below that. Then if you look on the next page, table C is just a little bit more of a breakdown of categories and whether they're spending in the classroom or not, and some percentages there. The next page, table D and table E, is again just another breakout of different ways and that the funds have been used, different projects that we're working on, different categories. And then the last table is just a table from some previous years that we used to calculate before that. The COVID funding, as we know, has gone since our fiscal year 1920, so we're now 2 years after that, but we have to report all of the funds that were received and continue on that way. So this report is a reflection of 2022 ending date, but it does include things from previous years to show just total that we've spent. Were there any questions on the AFR? Yes.
Ms. Kravitz?
My one question is, I appreciate the explanation, thank you. I appreciate that our grants are reimbursement, they're received as a reimbursement. Have we planned on any grants that we have not received reimbursement for or have been told that we no longer qualify?
Not to my knowledge. To my knowledge, every grant that we're applying for, we get the guaranteed award, and then we just do our budgeting to spend to that award. I don't know if Ms. Corbin
I
has
just
something
have
to
to
say.
add FEMA, DEMA. I'm still working on it. We're going to get money.
Okay.
So we haven't been denied it. We've been actually told we're moving along and we have money coming, but we haven't seen it yet.
Okay, thank you.
So it's not really a denial, but it's in process.
Yeah, I call them constantly, and we're working on that.
Thank you.
Probably just one more explanation on grants. We have a grants management team. It is not uncommon for a grant to be, if something isn't quite right, to be rejected and sent back. So it's a great deal of work to make sure that we're attentive, and sometimes there's turnover in the Department of Education, et cetera. So I really appreciate not only the finance department, but just the grants management team, because it's a tremendous amount of work, and that means people. So it's quite a process.
Oh, I'm sure.
Mr. Lauder?
Sure, quick question here. This would be page number 5 of 9, and it's number 24. Now, maybe I overlooked it in the previous years, but this is Chemical Abuse Prevention Program. I'm trying to remember if we ever had any money for that. I don't remember in previous
We did,
years.
but it's been like my beginning years, so it's been like probably 15 or 20 years ago since we've ever had that many.
Wow.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
Okay. All right, very well.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Information item 3.2, ASU Helios Decision Center for Educational Excellence. That's Ms. Thompson and Ms. Anderson.
Thank you, President Townsend, Governing Board. I would ask Principal Jankowski to come forward along with Mr. Ramirez. We have guests in the house. Oh, you're not coming forward. All right. Can you at least raise your hand and just say hey? The student from San Luis High School briefly mentioned this. I'm going to ask Mr. Jankowski to speak to it. And congratulations and thank you for being here. And let's hear it.
Well, thank you, Governing Board, Superintendent, and Associate Superintendents. So basically, I received an email at the start of this year reaching out for information, or they found information that our engineering students were completing introductory level courses at a great success within the 3 public universities in Arizona, NAU, U of A, and ASU. When I reached out, he wanted to come take a look at our campus. We got him on campus. We had him in Mr. Ramirez's level 2 classes, and we have a great student in one of his level 2s. I know I went and talked to him several times. He went to nationals for robotics, urban search and rescue. And so he's a senior. He's hoping to revamp his engineering design, but he loves talking about it. He loves talking to guests. State Superintendent Kathy Hoffman was there. She talked to the same student too. So just a great group of kids and students in that class. Within the universities, he mentioned that 80% of our students from San Luis High School receive either an A or a B in introductory engineering level classes, and 100% of our students are getting an A, B, or a C. So they're passing their entry level classes and able to move on to the next level. And so we had a little bit of a interview with him in the afternoon. Me, myself, Mr. Ramirez, and Ms. Landsman are our CTEIL, and we came up with several factors that really helped contribute to that. Number one is a lot of support. Support from the governing board to let us go travel to nationals, to these state competitions, so our students get excited about their CTSOs and stuff like that. Support from within the district of Lower Honeycutt and supporting and giving the funds for state-of-the-art equipment that really our CT programs benefit from and our students. And last but not least, and probably the most important, is Mr. Ramirez. I know he's kind of shy. He didn't want to come up here right now, but you get him in the classroom, and I'll go to the classroom, and I swear I'll spend 15, 20 minutes there because he'll show me, oh, check out this new design over here, or check out this new table that we got with all these new gadgets and tinkers and stuff like that really kind of develop some awesome projects. So the passion from Mr. Ramirez is undeniable, and really kind of why our students succeed is passion from our teachers every day. So we were blessed. We're happy. Anytime you get recognized by ASU and the Helios Foundation, we're grateful, and we hopefully continue to experience some success within all of our students going on to college and entry-level classes. So thank you.
Thank you.
You good?
Any questions? Okay, moving on. Item 3.3, ASU University Admissions Pilot. That's Ms. Thompson, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you. And Ms. Anderson will present to the governing board on this item.
We are very fortunate, as Mr. Jankowski highlighted, and being partners with the ASU Helios Decision Center for Educational Excellence. And that Decision Center is run by Dr. Joe O'Reilly, and they're constantly looking at data. And we are very fortunate in that they offer many invitations as they look at the success of Yuma Union students. And so Dr. O'Reilly reached out to myself and our Director of College and Career Readiness, Crystal Buckley, about an admissions pilot program. It was started last year with Phoenix Union High School District with just ASU.
He reached out and he said, I have all three universities, ASU, U of A, and NAU, that want to participate in an awareness campaign for students. And we will have at the November board meeting a more formal presentation by Crystal Buckley, the Director of College and Career Readiness, and the counselors as to how they're supporting this pilot program. So what this is going to be, seniors who are Yuma Union seniors who are on track for university admissions or close to it are going to be receiving a letter offering them admission to ASU, U of A, and NAU, even though they haven't applied yet. What is different about this project? Traditionally, students ask the universities, they submit their, they register, they enroll or apply, and they send those applications in to be admitted and wait to see if they're accepted to the university. Some students never apply because they think they won't be accepted, they can't afford it, and or the application process in itself can be intimidating and not worth the effort for something that may not happen for them. The project turns the admission process on its head and it eliminates or minimizes those barriers. Now those three universities will be accepting students without any paperwork and are the ones asking students to say yes and enroll. It's up to the student to decide to accept or not, and the student is now the decision maker. The university has already agreed to accept the student. Who's going to be getting the letter? Again, our seniors who have 14 of the 16 Regents required courses for university admission with a 3.0 will receive the letter. They'll also receive information about their financial aid packages. And then what do the students need to do? They're going to get the letter. They need to just accept the acceptance. And so we have our teams of counselors supported by our district team to reach out to the students once they get their letters and to help them with that process and notifying the university. And they can accept all three. And then when it comes close to graduation, make the decision based on financial packages or what their plans are after they graduate. And if we have students and parents in the community, if a student doesn't receive a letter and they feel that they should have, then all they need to do is reach out to their school counselor. And we have a contact at the ASU Helios Decision Maker Center that will take care of that right on the spot for us. So I look forward to the team and the counselors coming back in November to present with some data of the students who received the letters and how the pilot's going. So
That's amazing. Any questions? That's wonderful. Very, very good. Thank you. Okay, moving on. First read of public policies and exhibits. This is a first read. They will come back at the next meeting, those that need approval. And those that don't need approval will go into effect. Okay. Thank you. Next item is the call to the public. Any person wishing to speak may present the information at this time only. All presentations are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes and a maximum of 15 minutes on each subject. Before you begin to speak, please identify yourself by clearly stating for the record your name. Comments by members of the governing board in response to any public comment will be limited to asking staff to review the matter or requesting rescheduling of the matter for further consideration at a later date. I'm going to explain that a little more clearly. That means that because it's not an agenda item, the board cannot respond to any questions or anything. I have two that have signed in. Lena Comer. If you'll come up front, please.
I ask you to please have patience. I'm very nervous. I am embarrassed to say the last month was the very first school board meeting I had ever attended. Now, I've been in this area. My family moved here in 1946. So, since 1946, I have had family involved in all of the schools. I've had teachers, superintendents. My brother was the longest serving board member on the Antelope High School school board in the history of the school board. So I have a lot of connections. And the reason that I am here tonight, I right now still have 3 great-grandchildren in Yuma High Schools. So I apologize that I have not been more into school boards, but I was the youngest of my family, and I just thought the rest of my family could take care of all of this. But I'm here for 2 reasons. The first reason is the concern that I have for my great-grandchildren in these high schools, and ask you, since I was here at the last school board meeting, to please do not change your bathroom policies and put girls and boys in the same bathrooms. As I said, year after year, and little by little, changes have crept into our schools. With fathers leaving the homes, then mothers leaving their kids, and parents became so focused on themselves they could not see the damage that they were heaping on their children. The children became so hurt, believing they were the cause of their parents leaving, and then the hurt turned into self-hatred, and now that has become anger, suicides, drug addictions, while all these kids really wanted was to be loved, accepted, and to know that their mom and dad was there to help and support them. Now, this latest idea is to tell our children, well, we can change you physically, change your bodies, and help you become whatever you want to be. Then they tell them, you will be happy and at peace with yourself. That's just heaping more damage on our young people. They need the same thing that the parents, the grandparents, the great-grandparents, the teachers, all of us need. We need peace and contentment on the inside of ourselves, in our hearts. And that change only comes from God through Jesus, his Son. Thank you for letting me speak my piece tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Comer. The next I have is for Bruce Luna. Mr. Luna?
Good evening, school board. My name is Bruce Luna. I have two kids in 10 Yuma High. One's a freshman, girl, and one's a boy senior. Recently in the Yuma Daily News, JV coach, elementary teacher arrested for alleged child sex crime. Well, that's what we've come down to. Same thing is, we've been allowing a boy who thinks he's a girl to go to the bathroom with the girls. I want you to understand, I didn't know if that was true, how it worked, how it didn't. So I made a call to the city prosecutor. I made a call to the county prosecutor, and I asked them, what's the rule, what's the law? One, I didn't want anybody thinking that I didn't know what I was talking about. In fact, I didn't even know what I was talking about. But I want you to make the call. You sit down with them and you talk to them, because it is against the law. It doesn't matter what Title IX says. In the state of Arizona, it is against the law. I asked them a scenario. If my kid finds that out, points that person out, tells the teacher does nothing because the teacher's a mandatory reporter, then they go to the RSO. The RSO doesn't do anything. What do we do then? Well, the county prosecutor says you call us and you can press charges on them. That's what they told me, okay? So we have to take care of our kids, all of them, every single one of them. Right now at Yuma High, they're saying, girls, you can't be girls. So the girls are planning on a walkout. I don't know when, how they're going to do it, but they're going to plan it because so they're supporting their girl rights because we're trying to take that away from them. They're boys or they're girls, okay? The other thing I want to talk about is we have a lot of drugs at our school. Marijuana, kids smoking, fights on a consistent basis. We need help. Your principals need help, okay? And you got to give them authority to discipline those kids or kick them out, okay? We have gangs at the school. We need help. Those kids can't go to a safe school. One of your core values is keeping our kids safe. That isn't keeping them safe. I got little freshmen saying, hey, Mr. Luna, can you help me out? Well, I really can't help them out because their parents have to help them out, okay? But what I'm telling you is we have some issues there. Kids don't feel safe going to the bathroom. I know my daughter will come home and say, Dad, I was in the bathroom, the kids were smoking, that's why I smell like smoke. Because none of us smoke, so you can pick it up. Okay, the next thing, we have principals talking in Spanish around their other Caucasian principals. That's wrong, okay? When you're in a group, everybody speaks English. That's the law in Arizona as far as I know. Okay, recently y'all did a PD day, and you paid the teachers on their contract. Well, I did some research. I don't see how you can have a PD day and pay somebody and pay them on their contract day. To me, that's called double dipping. I would hope that you check that out. And I hear there's a lot of great things at the other schools. Don't get me wrong. My kids are smart. One's in number 7, the other one's really smart. But they haven't had a single day of homework since they've been at school. How are they supposed to learn so they can go to college? And Ms. Anderson, I want to say thank you. Because my wife and I spent 2 hours at NAU just putting him through the motions. So thank you. Because if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have spent that on Monday. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? That's all the slips I have. Did anybody else want to address the board? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Next item is the consent items. Adoption of items of a routine nature and those that normally do not require deliberations on the part of the governing board. A board member may pull items which will be discussed and voted upon separately. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as stated.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Mr. Lara, to accept the consent items as stated. Is there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, here we go. Got to get this out because it's a long read. Next item, consideration to approve the proclamation of School Bus Safety Week. This is the longest proclamation in the history of the world.
President Townsend, would you like to thank Mr. Sheepers for that?
Mr.
Because
Sheepers,
he
once
is
again,
in the
thank
audience.
you. Would you like to come read this? Okay, I'm going to let Mr. Sheepers read it.
All right, nice.
Here's a copy of that.
You have been doing a lot of talking here, so we'll give you a break. So I do thank you for, just the opportunity to bring this resolution forward to you for School Bus Safety Week. But before I read it, I would like to say that this is a big team effort that we have at Transportation. And I just want to, without sounding too much like I'm accepting an Academy Award, but I do want to thank, the community, the parents, the principals, the schools, the staff, and our hardworking staff that we have. A lot of our drivers and people that work in our department, they're working double duties, they're working extra time. The driver shortage is just, really taking an impact on us, and I just appreciate all the support and everything we have from that, including the Yuma Sun and KYMA, who ran some articles and stories about that. I think all of that teamwork together makes this happen. So with that being said, the resolution proposal for Yuma Union High School for School Bus Safety Week resolution. Whereas approximately 480,000 yellow school buses carrying 26 million children to and from school every weekday. Whereas America's 480,000 school buses comprise the largest mass transit fleet in the country, 2.5 times the size of all other forms of mass transportation, transit, intercity buses, commercial airlines, and rail combined. Whereas during the school year, school buses make more than 10 billion passenger trips daily, carrying the nation's future, our children. Whereas school bus transportation is 9 times safer than traveling in a passenger vehicle and is the safest form of ground transportation available. Whereas school buses meet higher construction, equipment, and inspection standards than any other vehicle, and school bus drivers meet higher qualifications, training, and testing standards than any other drivers. Whereas the governing board of Yuma Union High School, District 70, is committed to the safe transportation of more than 2,700 eligible students daily, traveling more than 1 million miles annually on more than 100 school buses. And whereas the support and assurance or assistance of every citizen of Yuma County is vital to the safe transportation of the students while on the bus traveling the public streets of the county and while at the bus stops. And whereas the governing board desires to encourage school bus safety. And whereas the week of October 17th to the 21st of 2022 is designated as National School Bus Safety Week. And whereas the School Bus Safety Week, which is celebrated in more than 40 states and sponsored by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, was created to remind all students of the best ways to get on and off the bus in an effort to enhance the safety of the nation's children. And whereas School Bus Safety Week, which dated back to 1966, also recognizes the hard work and dedication of school transportation personnel, especially the many school bus drivers who ensure a safe journey each and every day. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of Yuma Union High School District 70 supports the goals and ideals of the National School Bus Safety Week, and it finally resolved that the governing board of Yuma Union High School District 70 recognizes October 17th through the 21st of 2022 as School Bus Safety Week and encourages all citizens of Yuma County to take extra precautions and keep a watchful eye for students and buses going to and from school.
You did a fabulous job.
Yeah.
You have it.
And I looked into that as far as the length of it. I can't find anything that's not important to take out, so.
You're right. So.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is recommended that the governing board adopt the resolution and proclaim October 17th to 21st, 2022 School Bus Safety Week. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, adopt the resolution and proclaim October 17th through 21st, 2022 School Bus Safety Week.
Motion made by Ms. Mellon, seconded by Ms. Kravitz, that the governing board adopt the resolution and proclaim October 17th to 21st, 2022 School Bus Safety Week. Is there any questions or discussion?
Question, and this is not about the resolution except about a number in the resolution. We only have 2,700 students that go on the bus?
Eligible students for transportation, and remember we have a 2-mile walkout.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And just a reminder that Mr. Sheepers has the delicate dance of serving two districts,
Right.
District 1 and District 70. So I hope you get to read that somewhere else too.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item is another proclamation. Consideration to approve the proclamation of National School Lunch Week.
And President Townsend, just so you know, Ms. Guerra is in the house. Who is
Good.
the
I think she should be able to read the proclamation, Ms. Guerra.
in her first year in this new position. I think that would be wonderful.
Do you have a copy? Do you want me to give you this copy? Okay.
You can read
If you'll come forward and please, you can read this proclamation also. I'm getting out all sorts of work. I love this meeting.
Mine is a lot shorter.
A lot.
And thank you for recognizing our National School Lunch Week. I have a great team, and I am enjoying learning as much as I can, and I'm very proud to serve our district in this capacity. Okay. So, the National School Lunch Week official proclamation, whereas the National School Lunch Program has served our nation admirably for 75 years through advanced practices and nutrition education, and whereas the National School Lunch Program is dedicated to the health and academic achievement of our nation's children, and whereas recent research shows students are receiving their healthiest meals at school, and there is evidence of continued need for nutrition education and awareness of the value of school nutrition programs. Now, therefore, we, the Governing Board of the Yuma Union High School District 70, do hereby proclaim the week of October 10th through the 14th of 2022 as National School Lunch Week, and encourage all residents to become aware of the benefits of the National School Lunch Program and support good nutrition habits for their children in hope of achieving a more healthy citizenry for today and the future.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. It is recommended that the Governing Board adopt the resolution and proclaim October 10th through 14th, 2022, National School Lunch Week. Is there a motion?
So move.
Okay. Motion has been made by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Ms. Kravitz, to adopt the resolution and proclaim October 10th through 14th, 2022, National School Lunch Week. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Now there's nobody to pawn this one off on. Okay, the next item is consideration to accept donations. It is lengthy, but there's not a whereas in it. So I will read these. Cibola High School, the Thunderbirds donated $1,000 to Cibola High School girls golf. Mary Eccles donated concession items to Cibola High School Renaissance Club valued at $100. Alejandra Angulo donated concession items to Cibola High School class of 2026 valued at $60. Olga Galdamez donated concession items to Cibola High School National Honor Society valued at $24. If I butcher a name, I apologize. Lupe Lewis donated concession items to Cibola High School class of 2025 valued at $89.80. Anthony Clayton donated concession items to Cibola High School class of 2026 valued at $25. Doug and Gina Thompson donated $300 to Cibola High School CTE Culinary. Donors Choose donated headphones, instrument reeds, mallets, and other percussion items to Cibola High School Band. This donation has a total value of $1,300. To Gila Ridge High School, MG Auto donated a vehicle to Gila Ridge High School Student Council for their annual Car Smash Bonfire. The donation is valued at $1,500. Do they smash it and then burn it?
I'm afraid to ask because my first year that we did that, we forgot to take the gas out of the tank. So I'm sure we have much. It's okay, Diane. It didn't blow up.
Maybe we shouldn't have said that. Okay, I'll move on.
It was out there. It's no secret.
Quell Corporation donated a light tower to Gila Ridge High School Student Council for their annual car smash bonfire. Donation is valued at $200. Christine Frame donated glow sticks to Gila Ridge High School National Honor Society, valued at $55. Cabot's Fortuna Ace Hardware and Sunscreens donated 4 military flags to Gila Ridge High School Avid program. This donation is valued at $80. Chick-fil-A donated $150 to Gila Ridge High School for the purchase of a mascot costume. Donors Choose made donations to various classes at Gila Ridge High School with a total estimated value of $3,100. The donated items include arts and craft supplies, books, workbooks, toys, tennis rackets, classroom supplies, science equipment. To Kofa High School, the Thunderbirds donated $1,000 to Kofa High School Boys Golf. King's Regiment Band Boosters donated drum stands to Kofa High School Marching Band. This value is donated at $1,703.64. Royal Court Football Booster Club donated $5,738.16 to Kofa High School for the purchase of Procom headsets. Donors Choose made donations to various classes at Kofa High School with a total estimated value of $1,119. The donated items include classroom supplies and a printer. To San Luis High School, Donors Choose made donations to various classes at San Luis High School with a total estimated value of $2,880. The donated items include classroom supplies, projector, 2 laminators, social games, 2 printers and cartridges. To Somerton High School, the Kokopah Tribal Council donated a flagpole and installation materials to Somerton High School. The estimated value of this donation is $9,366. To Vista High School, ABC General Contractor Incorporated donated $400 to Vista High School Hosa Mental Health Club. To Yuma High School, Donors Choose donated books and board games to Yuma High School Library with an estimated value of $1,700. It is recommended that the governing board accept the above listed donations. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, accept the listed donations as read, and hopefully we'll continue to have more and more as our schools grow.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been made by Ms. Kravitz and Mr. Lara to accept the donations, and I might add with deep gratitude, we appreciate our community is very generous to us. Is there any questions or discussion?
That was a nice donation.
Very nice. Yes, that I believe is our first donation to Somerton High School. So, no other questions or discussion. We'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.4 has been pulled. Item 6.5, consideration to approve a financial software contract. Let me get to, there we are. It is recommended that the governing board approve the contract to purchase new financial software. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Lotta, to approve the contract to purchase new financial software. Ms. Thompson, Ms. Cordery, would you like to add anything to what was in the?
Ms. Cordery has done an excellent job in this research, so I will turn it over to her.
Okay. So we, about 18 years ago, hired a programmer who wrote our own financial software, and it's worked and it's served us well for a lot of years. But as people move on, and she's ready for retirement down the road, and so we have looked at different software throughout the state and throughout the country, and we've landed on this one, and we're excited for a new adventure and to figure out what possibilities we can develop with this company. We would be the first, by the way, in the state of Arizona to go with this company, so we're treading some new trailways, but I think it's going to work out in our favor for sure.
Any questions? Or?
But not the first in the United States.
No, ma'am.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. It was a long contract. A very long contract. Okay, moving on. Consideration to approve land purchase for warehouse extension. It is recommended that the governing board approve the purchase of land located at the northwest corner of Avenue A and 11th Street. It is parcel 664-16-149. Is there a motion?
I move that we, the governing board, approve the purchase of land located at the northwest corner of Avenue A and 11th Street. It is parcel 664-16-149.
Motion made by Ms. Mellon, second by Ms. Kravitz, to approve the purchase of land located at the northwest corner of Avenue A and 11th Street. It is parcel 664-16-149. Ms. Thompson, Ms. Cordery, I know this was discussed at one point in an executive session. Would you like to expand on this a little bit?
Well, I'd like to thank the governing board for allowing us to continue to research it, and thank Ms. Cordery for handling the negotiation. You'll notice the amount is less than the original price. It is an opportunity for us to expand our warehouse in the future. We always need space, and this opportunity came up after a lot of work on Ms. Cordery's behalf, trying to actually ask questions about the land, and we did not receive any response. So very excited about this. Again, it's just the purchase of the property, and the expansion we'll see in the future.
And I believe we made an offer that was under the price.
Yes,
and it
you'll
was
see that
accepted.
$825,000 is below the asking price.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, request for the governing board to discuss ARS 9-500.26. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Lara. It's 9-500.26, authority to regulate the entry of minors into Mexico, exemption from liability. The governing board of an incorporated city or town may adopt an ordinance pursuant to Chapter 7 of this title, allowing a peace officer of a city or town to prevent the entry from this state into the Republic of Mexico at the border by any resident of this state who is under 18 years of age, if the minor is unaccompanied by a parent or guardian, or does not have the written consent for entry from a parent or guardian. The authority of the peace officer is only to prevent entry and not to otherwise detain the minor. This section shall not be construed to limit the authority of a peace officer pursuant to any other law. C, a city or town is not civilly or criminally liable for not adopting this ordinance pursuant to this section, action deemed appropriate by the board. Mr. Lara, this is your request. Do you want to explain it?
Sure, thank you. This is something I'm pretty passionate about. I brought this up twice before. Living in San Luis, this is something that I have seen over the years, and we had a fentanyl crisis at the San Luis High School and the community. This particular statute was originally, by the legislature, was to prevent children that live in Mexico to go to school here for free. That's the original intent. But I saw this as a tool that we can use to actually prevent children not to be used by the traffickers and the cartels. That's what's happening. So I think this is something that has to be presented to the Board of Supervisors, City of San Luis, but there's also another agency that I think can help, and that's the Arizona-Mexico Commission, because most of the fentanyl is brought to the United States through the ports of entry, not through the desert or with illegal immigration and so forth. Most of it is through the ports of entry. I think this is a tool that we should use. The traffickers, I mean, they look at everything, any weak spot, anywhere that they can use to use the kids, they'll use it. And I think this is something that I'll ring the bell, and I have been ringing the bell on this. I feel very, very passionate. I mean, this is where I live. And matter of fact, the chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Tony Reyes, lives in San Luis. And I think there's also members of the Arizona Mexico Commission that are on the board with the supervisors. So I'm bringing this up again. Hopefully we can talk about it. Hopefully we can send a letter of a resolution or a letter of support, or somehow work together. I don't think this is something that we should just tackle by ourselves. This is something that the whole community, the whole county, also the Gadsden School District. I mean, these are our kids, and we have to watch out for them. And I think this is very dangerous. This drug, I mean, it's something I've never seen before. And we all have to come together and use all the resources to try and stop this and to save as many kids as we can. Actually, tomorrow there's a meeting over at the Gadsden School District. One of the parents that lost a child is going to be talking about this. So, with that said, I'm hoping, opening it up for discussion with the board. Any questions or comments? And I am not trying to tell the City of San Luis or the Board of Supervisors what to do, or I'm not giving anybody any orders. I'm just asking that they consider this and to use it as a tool to save the kids. We all have to come together to save them. And that's why I'm bringing this up again.
I would like to make this, I'm not going to make this a motion yet, but for discussion, the possibility, because you're correct, the drug problem is just devastating. It's tearing our country apart and our community apart. And I think that any steps that can be taken to address this are appropriate. We have no authority to request or to demand any action. I would be in favor of, as a school district, a school board, sending a letter to the Board of Supervisors and to the City of San Luis, just restating this statute as a reference and stating something along the lines of, we would encourage you to, or any actions that might be taken to help slow down the trade of drugs at the border, something along those lines would be appreciated.
Right, exactly.
Does that sound fair to everybody?
I think so. And I think it's also important that the community know that you can call your elected officials and tell them that this law exists. And we all have to come together on this one. I really feel strongly about this.
Ms. Mellon, you look eager to say something.
I'm like processing. It takes me a little bit because I'm in regards to the organizations that we're presenting this to, and maybe we're going to flesh that out more. I don't necessarily, I mean, maybe it's the Arizona-Mexico Commission. It could also be the, it could be.
They have no authority.
Yeah, they don't have any authority.
This would have to go to the
yeah.
governing entities, which would be the
Yes.
Board of Supervisors and the
Correct.
municipalities.
Okay, I just wanted to, I agree with that. And I think you would get support from other, the Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalitions. I think you would get support from those as well as the state substance use coalitions. So that, but I just want to clarify that I don't think they would have that authority.
You know, and I think just maybe pointing out the statute and saying that we recognize the problem and that we would encourage any actions that might be
I agree.
helpful to address the problems or something along those lines.
Are we
Somebody
just
smarter than me can do the wordsmithing.
And are we just stating the drug, or are we also stating the trafficking? Whether it's drug or people.
Well, what's happening is, and several times when I brought this up, I've had a couple of meetings with the police department on the Mexican side, and what they told me was that the parents often are the ones that are loading the kids with the drugs. Sometimes the traffickers, but sometimes the parents, because they know that if they get caught, they'll release them to the parents, and no consequence for the child.
Okay, and so, but this says going into Mexico, not coming into the U.S.
Right.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do here, I don't see a reason why a child should go back and forth to Mexico by themselves. I mean, if we have border crossing guards just across the street, and then we allow them to cross into another country by themselves, and I'm talking grade school all the way up to high school. I see no reason that a child go into Mexico back and forth by themselves.
May I?
Kravitz, yes.
Thank you. I remember this coming up before, and I remember being a little wary of diving into any other pool except education, because I felt like we were the board, the governing board of the high school district. And I have to tell you, David, that now my thinking is a little different, because I do agree that the community as a whole needs to come together to protect children.
Yes.
And that it's not just the Yuma Union High School District's responsibility to protect children from bell ring to bell ring. It's also about in the mornings and how we feed them and how we make sure that they're safe. So the County Board of Supervisors sounds like the right answer to ask this question to. That's my comment.
Is it county or is it also federal?
This says
The city.
the
or
governing
county.
body of an incorporated city or town may adopt this ordinance.
So my thought with the County Board of Supervisors was that it would encompass Somerton, San Luis, Yuma County as well. That was my thought.
If they actually implement this, they would request the sheriff's office to designate a deputy to prevent a child going into Mexico by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's the city of San Luis, it would be a police officer. The other thing that I did look into is that Stone Garden money, which is federal money, is there that could be used for that. So it's not going to put a burden on any law enforcement agency.
On our final document, will it be like go through legal?
I would think it would have to.
Yeah, we can do that. My thought is to basically do a very generic type letter with this contained in it, this statute contained in it, just asking that
Inquiry.
or just stating that, you know, the drug and trafficking problems are a national crisis that's directly affecting the Yuma community and our schools, and that we want to bring awareness, you know, more awareness to this. This is something that we've come across that might be a possible solution, but anything they can do to help. Not ask for anything specific. I don't think we can direct them to put a police officer on the.
Right.
This gives them the authority. If they want to read this and they want to do that, then they can. Just more as an awareness to say, you know, we want some support to help address this issue.
The safety of our students.
Exactly. I think if everybody just puts a little bit in, everybody contributes a little, then it comes out to a lot.
Is that feasible, Mrs. Thompson?
How nice for them to have an option on statute, because school districts are usually mandated with shall and will. So I appreciate the fact that we're bringing this forward, and that I also appreciate the fact that it's massaged a little bit. I know at the beginning it was, you know, we were basically demanding, and I think the continued reference to the statute, it does provide authority, and it is incredibly frustrating as a superintendent that all of the ills of society are something that a school district, whatever school district, is responsible for solving. I also want to clarify that when we do find situations where students have large amounts of drugs on campus, it's virtually impossible to get it into the court system. So, yes, I appreciate making the ask, and I would leave it up to the master wordsmith to help me with that, Mr. Patton, and bring that back and definitely work through our legal counsel. But I really appreciate the board looking at different agencies that can help us with this, because we're not making a lot of inroads, and when we do, you know, we're at an expulsion rate for students, but then what does that bring them? So whatever we can do to act as a team, not separating us even more by them misinterpreting. So we'll definitely work together on that letter.
Right. Sounds good.
So.
Should the board
Yes.
approve it.
So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion. I think we've kind of got the genesis of what we want.
Thank
you. Mr. Gonzalez, go ahead.
Yeah, I thank you, Mr. Lara, for bringing this up as a discussion and possible action. I worked for Gaza School District for 17 years, so I know the problem. And this has been going on for 22, 23 years. I'm just trying to figure it out, giving a letter of support to the Board of Supervisors, how much is gonna be compromised on us as a board, you know, and whatever decision-making is gonna be done by them. But my best recommendation is, why don't we as a board get together with the Board of Supervisors and come up with more brainstorming?
No. I think a letter. We don't need another meeting with them. It would be unproductive.
No, but, okay, but I just wanna find out what the letter of support is gonna be.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, is if Mrs. Thompson, I'll make it in the form of a motion, that we request Mrs. Thompson to draft a letter based on our conversation that we're having and present it back to us at our next board meeting for final approval. Okay. But yeah, we could meet to death with every city council and board.
Well, and just to clarify on that, because that would be the natural leadership style, would be to meet. Perhaps this letter would encourage the two organizations to meet, but I think the letter probably has to come first and then see if we could work together, because to be perfectly honest, everything really does land on our shoulders by much of the view from the community, and we just can't do it alone. I know we have the Anti-Drug Coalition, Mr. Arviso, very active on that, Mr. Jankowski, but at the end of the day, it's almost viewed as a school problem rather than a national problem, and I think that we have to share that responsibility, and perhaps the letter could be the catalyst for that.
Before you make the motion, is there an Arizona statute about, I like your analogy, about crossing guards? Or anything like that? No, I mean for school students in.
No.
Okay, so there's nothing.
I don't know that there's a statute. Whatever's in place, I believe it's for elementary.
Okay.
I don't know the
But
rules
not
on
at the border.
Oh, yeah. I
Not
got it.
crossing guards at the border, no.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to make the motion that we ask Mrs. Thompson to work with staff to, based on our conversation, draft a letter to the Board of Supervisors addressing this and bring it back for consideration at another board meeting.
A second.
Do you mean the county or the city or?
County Board of Supervisors.
Okay.
Okay, motion's been made by me, seconded by Ms. Mellon. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations after 5 years,
I've
Mr.
been fighting
Lara.
this. It's a start. It's a start. Thank you.
Okay. Next item is consideration and potential action for the governing board to offer a candidate position of superintendent and for the board president to enter into negotiations with the candidate. As you know, we conducted public interviews and then a board interview with the only candidate that applied for superintendent. We chose to stay within Yuma Union High School District to do our search. Is there any discussion or a motion for any action?
I move that we approve the action to the consideration potential action on our behalf of to offer the candidate the position of superintendent and for the board president to enter.
You need a name.
Do I have to name the candidate?
You've got to name who we're going to offer it to.
He might not know.
Wow, this is awesome. Okay, to Assistant Superintendent Tim Brienza, the position of superintendent and for the board president to enter into negotiations with the candidates.
I second that.
Motion is made by Ms. Mellon, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez, for the governing board to offer Mr. Tim Brienza, the position of superintendent, and for the board president to enter in negotiations with the candidate. Is there discussion? Really? The biggest job we do, and there's no discussion?
I feel like we discussed it yesterday. I feel
We
like
had 2
we're
hours
done.
of discussions yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did good.
Hearing no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
5-0.
I know.
You didn't even get 5-0.
5-0.
You got 4-1.
For the record, 5-0.
5-0.
Congratulations, Mr. Rianza.
Congratulations.
Well, it's not done yet.
Right.
You know, you have until you sign to change your mind.
Yeah.
Next item, call for executive session, ARS 38 dash, I don't know what that squiggly thing is. I don't know what to call that. But anyway.
State
ARS
statute.
It's a what?
State statute.
State statute, that's a SS? Okay. ARS 38-431.03A2 and ARS 15-843F, discussion or consideration of records exempt by law from public inspection. This is an expulsion hearing. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Motion has been made by Ms. Mellon, second by Mr. Lara. Go into executive session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are going to an executive session. You can wait around. All we have left is to adjourn, or you can leave.